Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Today I'm going to be doing my first update for the Did You Pay My Battleship game that I am playing with Verity at Red Dirt and Stardust. I will be sure to have her link down below. These updates are kind of sporadic. Me and Verity have discussed that we want some good progress in this palette before we kind of update you guys. So it's been a little bit since I posted the intro to this video. When I rolled this palette in, it was brand new in my collection. I had not touched any shades in this project. The same with Verity. So it's kind of like a race to the finish kind of thing, which I'm really excited about. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about each shade in this project. I have used them. If I haven't, hit pan, hit miss, and then at the end talk a little more about my strategy that I have going for this game. So you can see here that this palette has gotten a lot of love. I've actually been using this more than my actual Pan That palette for this year. But I figured that Pan That palette would complement this very well, which I have been using with this palette. So for the first row, this matte white shade, Atmosphere, I do have a tiny dip going, nothing noticeable, but I can kind of like feel it if I stick my finger into the pan. I've been just using that like under my eyebrow, on my brow bone, just as a brow bone highlight. Hoax, I've been using on my outer V to darken up my outer V a little bit. Most of the shimmers, transmission included here, I have just been using all over the lid or as an inner corner. And I'm finding that I'm hitting pan fairly easy, maybe like within 3 or 4 uses of all over the lid, maybe 5 to 7 if I'm just doing the inner corner. So I have quite a bit of progress on these shimmers. And Transmission is the only shade in this palette thus far that I do have a hit. So I'm going to talk about that a little more with my strategy at the end of this video. Up next, we have Plasma. I've used this maybe 1 or 2 times. This Virtual shade, it's kind of confusing to me because it's not like a shimmer like the rest of the shimmers in this. It is very much so, like almost identical to this matte black dark matter down here in the corner, but it has like a silvery mix of glitter in it. It's not really, it's a different formula from the rest of the palette. I've been trying to switch back and forth with both of these and using them kind of in the same way. I like laying some of my Pan That palette shades on top of a black matte, so it kind of helps that dimension, those shifts kind of pop a little bit more. So I've been going back and forth with both of these, trying to see which one I like better, and just trying to get use out of the black. Because I kind of feel like one of these shades, one of these blacks, I feel like that's where Verity has a ship. I'm not 100% sure, but like I just have that feeling. So that's what I am trying to do. Moving right along to the second row. The shade Beauty I actually have on my outer V today, just to kind of darken it up just a little bit. And I also have it mixed with Hoax on my lower lash line. I haven't used that like a small handful of times, so no good dip going as of yet. Up next, Encrypted was the first shade that I had hit pan on. Here at the top, you can kind of see the little bit of the waffling of the pan. That was a miss, unfortunately. Up next, we have Transmission. I've used this 1 or 2 times, not nearly enough to have any progress. But I would like to do like a look with this trio, which I'm very surprised I haven't yet. So there is that. Up next is Plasma. I actually have Plasma on my inner corner today. Again, like probably use Plasma closer to that 7 to 8 use before I hit pan, just because I've been using this more as an inner corner. I think I've maybe used it all over the lid like 1 time. Virtual, sorry, that's Spaced. Spaced I've used maybe once, so nothing really going on there as of yet. Next up on this 3rd row, we have Nightmare. I've used this once, so no progress yet, but I do hope to have pan on that shade by the next update. Same with Encrypted. I've maybe used it once or twice, nothing as of yet. Hack, I have all over my lid today. I hit pan today in this shade, and that is also a miss. I also hit pan in Machine today, and I'm not sure if that's a hit or a miss yet. I did this look earlier, and then I was like, I'm feeling something like in the inner corner. I didn't have an inner corner shade, so I decided to take Machine, and pop it in my inner corner. So I'm waiting for Verity's response to see if this is a hit or a miss. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am updating as soon as I hit pan, and Verity is giving me a response of whether it's a hit or a miss, and vice versa. So we're waiting on Machine. I also hit pan on the shade Algorithm today. This was actually very surprising. I knew I had a very good dip going. I've been working on this shade since the intro to this project, using it as a transition shade in my crease. Pretty much using it that way. I did have a good dip, but I did not expect to hit pan. This is the only matte shade in this palette so far that does have pan, and I'm pretty happy about it, but I now know that these mattes are not going to be easy for me to hit pan on. I'm really going to have to buckle down and focus on them. So, up next is Distortion. I've used this 2 or 3 times. I think maybe once as an all over the lid shade, and a couple times in my inner corner. So no progress there yet. And for the final row, I do have a little bit of a dip going in Dark Matter, which is this matte black shade. Like I said, I've been pairing this shade with my Pan That Palette shades to help the multi-chromes kind of pop a little bit more. I don't know if you can see it if I kind of turn it. I've been using it like that. I've also been using it to add a little bit of a dimension to the outer V, the very outer V, just to darken everything up a little bit. Up next we have Grunge. I've maybe used this shade once, so really nothing to talk about that there. Source was the first shade, I believe, that I hit pan in this palette. Beautiful blue shade over here in this corner. Really not much else I can say about that. I used this maybe 3 times before I hit pan, because all 3 looks that I did, I used it all over the lid, which I really like this shade. I want to try to do a few more looks with it. And even if I don't hit Verity ships, even if in the event that Verity beats me at this game, I would like to try to attempt to get pan in every single one of these shades. I know that's a little ambitious considering I have some other projects that I have eyeshadows in, but I am reaching for this palette pretty much every single day, at least for one shade in here at a time, so I don't see that being too big of a deal, too big of a problem. but we shall see. Up next, we have Code. Code is kind of a hard one to see, but I do have Pan. The Pan kind of blends in with the actual eyeshadow color. It's right here above my finger. You can kind of see the waffling of the Pan. Another one that I've used just all over the lid, inner corner, that kind of thing. And then last but not least is Hardcore. This is like a dark, deep matte blue shade. I've used this maybe 2 or 3 times, but nothing to have significant usage on. So pretty happy with that. I was gonna attempt to track how many times it took to hit pan on these shades. However, I think I mentioned it in my intro or in some video. I was talking about it. I just really don't have the time to track everything, to be honest. I just wake up in the morning and slap some makeup on and call it a day, and then have to like rush my kids to school. So we will see how that goes. So game planning. I still want to focus on the last 4 shimmer shades, and I am including this virtual shade as a shimmer. I want to try to hit pan on the last remaining 4 shimmers. So virtual, nightmare, distortion, and grime. Yep. And then kind of do that, and then that would be half the palette would have pan. Transmission is the only shade that has been a hit. So with that being said, there's a few things that I might do. So I am proactively working on Hoax. And we know that, well, I know down this way, it can't be her 3 ships. So, because Hack was a miss. So, that leaves Slime, Plasma, and Hoax to be the next in line for the ship. And kind of go from there. So I'll probably work on this little triangle of shades, these 2 greens and then Hoax. So that's what I'm thinking. So I want to hit pan on the remaining 4 shimmers and then also focus on the greens. So Hoax, Plasma, Slime, and the 4 shimmers remaining in this palette. I'm super excited to kind of listen to what Verity's game plan is. Be sure not to tell me or her where each other place their ships. That's part of the fun part of the game. Super excited to eventually find out where she's put these ships. And I feel like I'm kind of targeting in where they might be. Maybe, we shall see. And going from there. You will probably also see some of these pans in this palette expand as I continue to use this palette this year. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that we can finish this game by the end of 2024. I don't know if it's going to be possible because I feel like it took like 4 months just to hit pan on one matte shade in this palette. But hopefully it won't take nearly as long once we kind of get going, kind of thing. So, with that being said, that is my update for Did You Paint My Battleship? I'm super happy with Verity for playing this with me. Always appreciative of her. And I am excited to hear your comments about my progress thus far. If you would like any looks with this palette, leave suggestions down below. I would love to hear what your color combinations would be. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out my channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.